establishing the rules, setting all the proper expectations for the appointment. Why is this necessary? Well, think about the last time you were upset, right? Whether it's a product, a service, a vendor, a relationship, a coworker, any situation whatsoever. Why were you upset? Is it possible at all that you were expecting one thing and you got something different, right? I'll give you an example here. My wife's phone wasn't working properly, right? She's got an iPhone and I paid for Apple Care. So her phone's not working. I'm being a good husband. I take that phone in to get it fixed by the Apple store because it should be covered by Apple Care. What happens? I bring the phone in, they run their diagnostics, and they said, oh, I'm sorry, everything's fine with the phone. This is not covered by Apple Care. What was my expectation? Fix a broken phone, be a hero to my wife. What was the outcome? Sorry, this isn't covered by Apple Care. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what the heck does Apple Care cover, right? And even on a broader level, you look at insurance, right? I've always kind of joked that insurance has two different arms. One to sell insurance and the other to deny insurance, okay? So again, if you think about any time you've been upset, is it because you expected one thing and you got something else? Why is this important? What is your expectation, generally speaking, when you walk into someone's home? Is it potentially to walk out with a signed contract? I'm sure it wasn't to go and make a friend today, right? So your expectation is to walk out with a signed contract. What's a homeowner's expectation? Why don't you walk around, answer my questions, take some pictures if you need, make me an offer, and I'll give you a call back, maybe. Isn't that the homeowner's expectations? How far apart are we? Signed contract, maybe I'll call you, okay? It's really important that we reset those expectations before we actually start the appointment, right? So I'll share with you guys real quick what our script is and then explain to you why we say what we say. Our process today, right? I walk into your home. Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, thank you for inviting me to your home. Can I share with you how these appointments normally go? These meetings do generally go about an hour, hour and a half. Is that still a good amount of time for you? Typically in the past, homeowners we work with wanted to know how this process works, how much money they're going to walk away with, when they're going to get their money. Am I missing anything? And obviously for me to see is, is a good fit, I'm going to need to ask you some questions. And some of these questions might come across as personal. Is that okay? And at the end, one of two things is going to occur. Either we buy your property or we don't. And either way is okay. If the price we offer you doesn't work, would you feel comfortable telling me no? Likewise, if we figure out that this is not a house we're going to buy, are you going to be okay with that? And if it does make sense for us to work together, what that means is we're going to take everything we talked about today and we're going to go ahead and put it all in writing. Is that fair? Can you share with me what you just heard? And can I share with you my biggest fear? You seem really friendly. Some of the homeowners we've talked to in the past, they're really afraid to hurt our feelings. Instead of telling us no, they told us that they needed to think about it. Can you promise me you won't do that? I promise you, you cannot hurt my feelings. And if I hear anything besides a yes or a no, I'm just going to take that as a no. Fair? So there were a lot of different techniques we put in there. Okay, so I'm going to break them down one by one. First, thank you for inviting me into your home, right? We want to remind them that they invited us over. We didn't just knock on their door and invited ourselves in, right? We're not selling solar. We're not selling security systems. We're not selling pest control. Nothing wrong with any of those businesses. We're just reminding them that they asked us to come over. And then we asked them if we can share with them how the appointment normally goes. The reason why we do this is because we're about to set some serious expectations. We want to soften it just a little bit before we do that. Then we ask them, it's going to take an hour and a half. Is that okay? Have you ever had a homeowner say, oh, well, I got to be out of here in 15 minutes. I got to pick up Johnny from school, go to the grocery stores, go run some errands, whatever. If they're not taking more than 15 minutes, this is not a real appointment, right? Have I bought houses in 15 minutes or less? Absolutely. Would I still be in business if I did that? Absolutely not, right? So if they don't give you the time of day, you can't continue the appointment. Additionally, there's a lot of gravity when you're selling your home. If they can't take an hour to spend with you as far as selling their home, how serious are they, right? Then we say, for me to figure out, homeowners we met with want to know, right? How much, how the process works, when they're going to get it. That's what most homeowners want to know. But what are we doing here? We're letting them know that this is going to be their agenda. Oh, by the way, when I said, can I share with you how these appointments normally go? Who's the professional in this environment, right? How many houses are they selling a month? Not one. How many are we trying to buy a month? At least double digits, right? We're the professional, and we are implying that this is the normal way appointments go. And then obviously for me to figure out this house we're going to buy, what are we doing here? We're going to let them know that, hey, I might not buy your house. For the last few years, people have been calling them, texting them, leaving them voicemails, mailing them that we want to buy your house. In their mind, they are the most attractive female at the club, at least as far as their house goes, right? So we're resetting those expectations right now. We're pulling it away a little bit. We're also asking for permission to ask personal questions, right? Why is that important? Well, have you ever had a homeowner tell you, well, that's kind of personal. Why do you need to know that, right? So what we're doing here is we're asking for permission to ask personal questions, because later on, they will honor it because they already granted us permission in the very beginning. And then we're going to say, if our price doesn't work, would you feel comfortable telling me no? We've empowered them to tell us no, right? So now we say, hey, just tell me yes or no. It's no big deal. And then we're going to say, if we figure out this house we're not going to buy, are you going to be okay with that? This is the third time in a minute we've told them we might not buy your house. And if it does make sense for us to work together, we're going to put everything in writing. We're setting, again, those expectations. Our intent, right, if we agree, is to put everything in writing. We ask them, can you share with me what you just heard? It's a communication question, right? We want to make sure we're all on the same page, that we're reiterating what we just talked about. And then, can I share with you my biggest fear? You seem really nice. Promise me you won't need to think about it. We are telling them as professionally and as courteously as possible. It's a yes, it's a no, and you're not allowed to think about it. The reason why this is so critical is oftentimes in the past, we've had salespeople that are pushing hard for a yes. You ever heard anyone say, I won't take no for an answer? Have you been guilty of saying that in the past? I know I have, right? What happens if you're pushing hard for a yes? I'm not taking no for an answer. They can feel all that pressure. And because they're feeling that pressure, what does that do? It raises their guard. It increases sales resistance, right? You're adding unnecessary friction to this appointment, right? So what are we doing here? Hey, it's a yes or no, either way is totally okay. We're being assertive. So if you can just picture, if you ever played video games, EA Sports or whatever, you can develop your own character. What we're looking for here is a 99 assertiveness. But aggression, less than 50, because we want to push hard for a yes or a no, right? No wishy-washiness, no ambiguity, but we're not pushing hard for a yes, because when we push hard for a yes, what we typically get is a lot of pushback and not a signed contract. And also, you might actually get a signed contract, but they may not show up on closing day. So hopefully that's giving you some clarity on how to establish the rules. For me, this was the single biggest difference maker in my business. It might seem really small, but once I started applying this process, I no longer got, I need to think about it.